Welcome to StantonMD. I'm board-certified emergency physician Dr. Ryan Stanton. Today we have a story of love, but not the typical love that we associate with our daily lives. We're talking about sacrificial love, that love that is so deep and strong that you're willing to give your life for somebody else. We see stories like this among soldiers in war, first responders, and among families. In this, it is the sacrificial love of a mother to her child. Erica Todd was a young professional, a physician's assistant working in the emergency room, caring for her patients on a daily basis. She was also a young wife with a growing family. She was married to Jacob Todd, who she met in college and had one son at that time, Walter. By every consideration, they were a young family living the American dream in a quaint community in southern Kentucky. In 2016, they decided that they had room to grow some more, and Erica was soon pregnant with their second son, which they quickly named Graham. It was early in this pregnancy that Erica noticed something was different. Through appointments with doctors during the early pregnancy, she received devastating news that would lead to the decision that nobody in her family doubted she would make and set forth a battle that demonstrated the highest form of sacrificial love. We will talk more about her diagnosis and decision, but first, it's important to know who was Erika Todd.
It's kind of hard to put into words who she was because there are so many words that you could use to describe her. Loving, wonderful wife, loving mother, awesome partner. I mean, wife, being a partner and having each other's back in every situation you make. I know she strived to be the woman they described in the Bible with Proverbs 31, the wife of noble character, and that's what she was. She did absolutely everything she had to do for me and for the kids, and I don't know, it's hard to describe because there's just so many words that could be used to describe who she was.
Erica was a fiercely loyal friend. She was smart, she was funny. If she was your friend, she was your biggest fan, biggest encourager that I've ever had.
She was exactly what you would think of when you think of a big sister, protective but not too overbearing. She was kind of the person that you would go to if you needed someone to talk to. She would give you her opinion without you really wanting or asking for it. So she was really smart and sweet. She was such a giver. Every part of everything she did it in a way that she was giving something to someone else, no matter if it was a holiday or a birthday or just because. So when I think of her, I think of a caring, giving, loving person.
Erica's father-in-law stated that Erica was a strong young person with faith, love, and commitment. He called her a special light in the modern world. Those were messages we heard over and over in her home in Somerset, Kentucky. Erica and Jacob met while in college. They both worked in the library, and at first, Jacob didn't pick up on her early advances.
It was kind of slow at first. It took like a couple times for me to get the books before I understood what she was going for. And then from there, we just started hanging out more on campus, and then eventually we just started dating right before I went to UK.
Their love grew as time went on. They both ended up in more schooling, with Jacob at the University of Kentucky and Erica eventually in PA school at Lincoln Memorial University. Jacob's dad recalled that his son and Erica had been dating for quite some time before they knew she even existed.
You have to know Jacob. They were dating for 6 months before we even knew Erica existed. Jacob didn't talk about it. At the time, he came home and he was telling my dad, who was bedridden at the time, about Erica, and And my dad just looked at him and said, well, is she pretty? And Jacob looked at him and said, would I be dating her if she wasn't? And we really found out quickly that that was an understatement. She was an absolutely beautiful girl, inside and out.
It was orchestrated by God. They were perfect together. They were so good for each other. They had, of course, been together since college. And although Erica always wanted to be in a field where she cared for people, actually since she was 6 years old, more than anything, she wanted to be Jacob's wife. And then she wanted to be a mommy.
Jacob and Erica got married in 2012, and their first son, Walter, was born in 2015. During that time, they focused on their careers and building a young family. Then, in 2016, Erica became pregnant again, and shortly thereafter, everything changed. We'll talk about that coming up. Stay with us.
As a board-certified emergency physician, Dr. Stanton is a proud member of the American College of Emergency Physicians, also known as ACEP. ACEP provides physician and evidence-based patient resources at its consumer website, emergencycare4u.org. That site has stories, fact sheets, and advice on a wide range of emergency topics. From visiting the ER to mom tips, you can find them on emergencycare4u.org. Do you own or work for a business that advances health and safety of the public or its employees? Then you may be interested in becoming a sponsor of StantonMD. There are various opportunities for sponsorship, from the show to the website, social media, print, or a combination. For more information on becoming part of StantonMD, contact Jen at info@stantonmd.com. That's info@stantonmd.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. In early 2016, the Todds were ready to grow their family. They were told it would be difficult and it may take a while. Jacob and Erica lost 2 pregnancies prior, and the outlook was not good for more children. But Erica got pregnant in the first month. The entire family was excited for this new addition to the family. But to Erica, something was different. She talked about this after the fact in a blog she published online. She talked about how the symptoms were different, and eventually doctors found something concerning.
Then she was having some complications early on. I think March or April, I think she has started complications. That may have been April or May. And then she was diagnosed in August, in the beginning of August.
She also let me know that the doctor had told her that she had seen a polyp, or what she thought was a polyp, and that Erica was having some spotting. Erica assured me at that time that it was nothing to worry about. Polyps happen all the time. But I knew Erica, and I could hear concern in her voice and see concern on her face. And when she came out of the room, the look on her face told me very strong, Mom, the polyp, it's not a polyp. Okay?
At that point, she was 18 weeks pregnant. Erica was diagnosed with advanced cervical cancer.
Just the shock, disbelief, you know, you feel like your heart just kind of fell to your, like the bottom of your stomach. I mean, it just fell out of your chest pretty much. It was nothing, you know, I was expecting. It was just it was a big shock, because it seemed like nothing was really out of the ordinary. There was a little bit there, but not bad, like nothing to indicate that, you know, she would be diagnosed with cancer. So it was just a big shock.
Then came the most difficult decision. You see, Erica faced the ultimate question, whether to terminate the pregnancy, possibly save her life and never have children again, or continue with the pregnancy with limited treatments with the likelihood that it would mean she would lose her life. Jacob and the rest of the family said that this was never a question. Erica knew her choice from the beginning.
There was really no conversation. It was, this is the way it's going to be. I'm keeping this child. She had made up her mind before she was diagnosed, because being a PA, she probably maybe had some inkling of what could have happened or what she could be diagnosed with. So she had already made up her mind, and that was that. I mean, they gave her the options of what she could do, but her initial response and steadfast response was that she was keeping him. God was going to take care of him, and you know, he was going to be there throughout this, and everything was going to be okay.
When I found out that it came down to her choosing whether or not to have Graham, it really wasn't a surprise to me, honestly. I knew she had lost a couple of babies before, and she was just the kind of person in general who just loved people and loved children. That was just who she was. So I knew if for any reason it ever came down to her having to choose her baby or herself, it would be her baby, no matter what. So that wasn't really a surprise to me.
We knew what Erica would want. Erica typed in a little blog, and a piece of that blog, which we didn't actually read until after we lost her, came across it. It was read at her funeral, but her words were, yes, his name is Graham. He has a family that loves him. The odds will be stacked against him. But he will have a great testimony to tell.
Erica's blog post on August 15, 2016 outlined her views and her choice. From the diagnosis, her focus was on the life of Graham. Graham was delivered at 34 weeks via C-section, the point when Erica's doctors felt she was still strong enough and Graham was mature enough to survive.
It was exciting. I mean, she was really excited. It was just a blessing, you know, that he came out as healthy as he did. There were no complications or anything that they saw during the delivery. She was just ecstatic. I mean, she was just, I don't know, she was just really excited that he was here and she could hold him and love on him and, you know, just be a mother to him.
Graham stayed in the NICU for 9 days. During that time, Jacob and Erica stayed with him as much as they could, as Erica was still undergoing treatments. Once they got home, she continued treatments. Even through her growing weakness and illness, she still celebrated her favorite holiday with her family, Christmas.
Christmas was kind of Erica's thing. Every year she spent way too much money on gifts for everybody, her being a giver. And this past Christmas, she was going through treatment and she was so weak. She just couldn't even get out of bed, really. But we had Christmas here at her house, and she made sure to be down here anyways, even though she was sleeping on the couch. She couldn't really talk that much. She was just so positive, and she still got a lot of gifts this year for everybody, even though I don't even know how she did. I don't know how she had time, but she found time. So she was just so positive through the whole thing. Every time I ever talked to her about it, she would just talk about how she wasn't going to be negative. She was praying, she was believing in God's will, and she just refused to be negative, and that's just kind of how she always was. So when I think of her legacy, I think of the love that she showed by choosing life for her baby and giving hers, and just the courage that she had through the whole process.
Unfortunately, the treatments and cancer took more of a toll on Erika. Admissions to the hospital, weakness, and the realization that the end was near. Erika died on February 28, 2017. Her Facebook page was flooded with the color pink, friends and family paying their respects and celebrating her motto throughout her fight, choose joy. But for family, the loss was immense, and for Jacob, the realization that he was now a single father.
Emptiness, like, you know, kind of like you lose a piece of yourself, like you just now have this void. And I mean, it was just a dark time. And that was when I decided and was thinking, like, okay, now I'm a single father. I've got 2 boys. I have to raise them, so I can't I guess go into depression. I can't, you know, allow myself to not be the father that they need, because I was still just, you know, filling an emptiness that you couldn't fill. I mean, it was just a rough time, and I don't know. It's just this emptiness that I felt after that happened.
In Erika's death, a message of ultimate sacrificial love. We will talk about her legacy when we return. Stay with us.
Do you own or work for a business that advances health and safety of the public or its employees? Then you may be interested in becoming a sponsor of StantonMD. There are various opportunities for sponsorship, from the show to the website, social media, print, or a combination. For more information on becoming part of StantonMD, contact Jen at info@StantonMD.com. That's info@StantonMD.com. As a board-certified emergency physician, Dr. Stanton is a proud member of the American College of Emergency Physicians, also known as ACEP. ACEP provides physician and evidence-based patient resources at its consumer website, emergencycare4u.org. That site has stories, fact sheets, and advice on a wide range of emergency topics. From visiting the ER to mom tips, you can find them on emergencycare4u.org. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. The message of Erika Todd was choose joy. She lived life and her final days with a silver lining, understanding that she could not change the situation, only her attitude towards it. This positive outlook and her choice to put her child's life before her own lives on as her legacy.
She showed the purest form of love. And she always chose joy through every trial. She was a hard worker. But I'm grateful to have known her, because I got to see what true love was, which was sacrifice of your own self, and that's what she did all the time.
Unselfishness, giving. Erika was a giver in every sense. And she loved people.
Paid the ultimate sacrifice, and she had just an unbelievable faith that God was always there, and that this was her testimony to help other people, and that's what I want to continue to share with others and help them and do what I can to pass on her faith to others, and just I guess try to be as much like she was in that regard as possible. Just, you know, have the same faith that she did.
I think for me, and for probably those who knew her, and maybe those who even don't know that much about her, I think it inspires people to live for more than yourself. She always knew that and did it well. Inspires you to look at the positives in life instead of the negatives. Even when she got the news of that it was for sure cancer, I was sitting there next to her hospital bed, and I started to cry, and then she started to, and she said, no. She said, crying's not going to change anything. So just to see the good things, to be thankful for the things that you do have, and to choose joy in spite of circumstances.
Those two little boys. And I feel like that Graham is got a future that nobody can tell you what it's going to be right now. Because I think in my soul, I feel like that was a lot of Erica's whole being on this earth. Was the way things turned out was to get that little boy here. And what he will do, well, now, whatever it is, won't surprise me. The second thing is her legacy is going to be, again, her faith in God, because of all the people that tried to talk her into terminating the pregnancy, it never crossed her mind. It was no before they even finished the question, because as her Christian faith, she wasn't going to do that. That little boy was going to live, even though it meant her life. And for her, there was no question. It shouldn't have even been brought up. And I feel like that when it's all said and done, that both Walter and Graham, but Graham especially, will be her legacy in what she's left behind.
And in the end, a message for us all.
To put others before yourself. And I would have said that before she even got sick. That was her message to people. She just was so full of love, always. Just ready to love people and take care of them, given her career choice, and just the love that she showed Walter while she had him. That was her message. She just wanted other people to put others before themselves and just to show everyone love. I would say that was her message.
Realize that there's more to life than what this world has to offer. Realize that it's not about us. You know, it's about those around us. It's about our children. It's about future generations. And what we do impacts them. What we do offers them opportunities. And do what you can to give them the best opportunity that's available.
Erica's story is one of loss, but also life. She paid the ultimate price for the life of her child. As these boys grow, they will know that though their mother is not with them physically, her choice demonstrated an ultimate love, a love for which there is no greater on this earth. Sacrificial love, that is the legacy of Erica Todd. And that's all the time we have for this episode of StantonMD. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch prior segments and episodes on the StantonMD.com page and our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can keep up with every episode and segment of the show. You can also join the conversation on social media, like our Facebook page and follow along at EverydayMed on Twitter. Until next time, I'm Dr. Ryan Stanton, and this is StantonMD.